You're listening to the SuitesFlow podcast.
Ciao and welcome from Mario and Alessia to a new episode of the SuitesFlow podcast.
Okay, think about this. You can spend millions on a promise you can't even see, but statistically, half of you listening, you'll ditch that booking the second you think the photo isn't real.
Yeah, that hits hard. Today we're exploring how this massive battle for relevance, in the lodging industry has totally shifted the baseline for trust. It's demanding clear, provable, unit-specific reality for everyone. Okay, let's really dig into this. It starts with, well, it's almost a gut punch, isn't it? The SuitesFlow essays really talk about this deep human frustration. You pay good money, sometimes a lot of money, for a promise.
A promise that just evaporates when you arrive. It's the industry's original sin, really. Opacity, that lack of clarity.
Right.
Think about booking that premium oceanfront room, say in Cancun. You've seen the brochure, right?
Right.
Glossy photos, maybe you can almost smell the salt air.
You're imagining yourself there, cocktail in hand.
Exactly. Then you get there, day one, you pull back those curtains, ready for paradise,
And boom, you're staring right at the resort's industrial laundry room, just churning away hot linens, damp air.
that's your premium view for the next 10 days. It's this. Mechanical heartbeat instead of the ocean lullaby you paid for. You've been completely baited and switched.
And that's not just a one-off horror story, is it? It really shows how the actual truth gets, buried.
Oh yeah, buried deep in the fine print, hidden behind those perfect but generic stock photos. The system fundamentally was built to maximize bookings, not necessarily deliver certainty.
The cost of hiding those details, though, it's huge. It's not just one unhappy guest. We're seeing data, serious numbers showing 52% of customers abandoning bookings.
All right, just ditching them. Not because of price necessarily, but because the experience is clunky, frustrating. It hides the stuff that really matters.
Like what specifically?
Well, things like noise potential.
Yeah.
Or those sneaky gotchas, Hidden resort fees, maybe. But mostly, it's about the actual view from the specific unit they thought they booked.
Ah, the infamous partial ocean view.
Exactly. Which we all know is code for.
Yeah, if you stand on the toilet and lean way out the bathroom window, you might catch a glimpse of blue between the palm tree and the service elevator.
Precisely. So travelers today, they crave certainty. They want the unblinking now, the reality, not these vague promises from yesterday's glossy brochures. That gamble. It's just too expensive, emotionally and financially.
So that sets the stage. But how do we even get here? This brings us to, I guess, the second part of our exploration, because 2 decades ago, this wasn't the main issue.
Not at all. Decisions were simpler, ruled by what you might call the blunt calculus of convenience. Meaning, is it near the airport? Is the price okay? Good enough? Book it. Location and deals, that was the game.
But then things got shaken up.
Completely disrupted. You had the explosion of the big platforms, DAC, Expedia, Booking.com, you name it. They didn't really fix the transparency problem, though.
No, they just aggregated everything.
Right. They made the shopping basket bigger. And suddenly, the decision process shifted. It became all about price versus listed quality, dissecting amenity lists, and obsessing over guest reviews.
Reviews became the only proxy for truth, really.
They did, and it sparked this brutal price war. Hotels felt forced to compete purely on scale, maybe adding free breakfast, minor stuff. They started looking interchangeable commodities.
Okay, so the giants create this price-driven market, and then?
And then, just as everyone settled into that new normal, this rogue wave hits. Around 2008, Airbnb.
Ah, yes, the disruptor.
Big time. And they didn't play the price game, not initially. They whispered, sweet nothings about authenticity, living like a local.
Right, offering a slice of real life.
Yeah, which suddenly made those big anonymous hotel towers feel kind of sterile, like wearing an overstarched corporate uniform on vacation.
It was a huge shift. Airbnb didn't need 1,000 identical rooms. They weaponized the specifics of a single apartment, a single view.
Exactly. And that model just carved out this massive chunk, something like 43% of the alternative lodging market. It forced the big hotel brands to really rethink things.
And that rethinking, that's the start of the next evolution.
That's the spark. It forced a reckoning. We started moving beyond what we might call brand 1.0, the era of faceless logos, consistency above all else, sameness as a virtue.
Into something new?
Into brand 2.0, where the core identity isn't just the logo, it's fundamentally changing.
But hold on, didn't hotels just try to, build fancier lobbies or add more spas? Why wasn't just better luxury the answer?
Well, they did that too, but the core problem wasn't just the physical building. It was the inability, using their old systems, their legacy tech, to sell the specific experience of room 412 honestly and do it efficiently at scale.
Ah, okay. So building beautiful places is great, but it's not enough if you can't promise that specific view before someone clicks book.
Precisely. You're still stuck in the old model. This new standard, Brand 2.0, it's defined by a pact of trust. It's about telling stories you can actually verify pixel by pixel.
Yeah.
The customer isn't just a guest anymore, they're the auditor.
Wow. The moment of sale becomes the moment of verification. That's a powerful shift. The demand for transparency. It's not just a nice to have anymore.
It's becoming table stakes.
And if you need a cautionary tale, like what happens when a market ignores this shift, when it relies on the old myth instead of this verifiable reality?
Look no further than Las Vegas.
Right, the Vegas Strip. It's almost like what did the essays call it? A gilded warning.
Exactly. A market built on spectacle, on illusion, maybe even a bit of denial, operating on the assumption that, Vegas going to Vegas, that the sheer dazzle is enough.
But the numbers.
Yeah.
The numbers are telling a different story now. The SuitesFlow essays highlighted this, didn't they? Las Vegas saw occupancy just greater, down 8.1% in July 2025. That's huge.
Massive. Visitors are actively choosing not to go or going elsewhere.
And why is that?
Well, think about it. You've got sky-high nightly rates averaging around $162. Plus, and this is key, those stinging, non-negotiable resort fees that pop up everywhere.
Ugh, the resort fees.
Right. People feel like they're paying a premium for an experience they can't even verify beforehand, and one that often doesn't live up to the implied promise. The cost, the hassle, the lack of certainty, it's starting to outweigh the spectacle.
It really feels like the ultimate failure of that old Brand 1.0 thinking. Even the biggest, most dazzling fountain show can't save you if you feel irrelevant or ripped off.
Absolutely. Consumers today, they demand top-tier service, sure. But more than that, they demand innovation that actually listens to them, listens louder than the slot machines.
When you feel like you're being nickel and dimed and you don't even know for sure which room, which view you're getting, that lack of transparency, it just pushes people away no matter how bright the lights are.
It forces a really tough question onto the legacy players. If you know that over half your potential customers might walk away because they lack certainty, why are you still hiding the actual truth?
It seems counterintuitive.
It is. The only sustainable path forward now is what we call full spectrum candor. The market isn't just about one-night stands anymore. It's about building loyalty, real loyalty cults.
Okay, so the demand is clear. Show me the real deal. Specificity, candor, the real layout, the real view, the real finishes for every single unit. But how? How do you actually do that? Especially for a huge property, say 500 rooms, giving every single looker a virtual key.
Yeah, that's the crux of it. That's the massive operational and technical challenge. It requires moving completely beyond static photos, beyond maybe a few model room tours. You need tools that actually enable this shift.
Tools that deliver, well, the essence of this new trust standard, like handing over the raw, verifiable info, like contraband truth, as the essays put it.
Exactly. And this is where the technology for unit-specific virtual tours becomes absolutely non-negotiable. It's the new baseline.
And we're not talking just like 5 professionally staged showcase suites, right?
No, absolutely not. That's the old way. The power, the real transformation, comes from making this available for every single unit, across the entire inventory.
So I can see the real layout, the actual furniture, the finishes.
And crucially, the window's honest gaze. What you actually see outside. No more guesswork, no confusion, no partial view, shenanigans.
You know, the most mind-blowing part for me is that this applies not just to hotels that are already standing,
Right.
but to projects that are still just blueprints. Buildings that don't even exist yet. You can walk through them.
That is the definition of selling certainty, not just smoke and dreams. It fundamentally changes the pre-construction sales game too.
And does it work? Does this level of transparency actually convert?
The results are pretty compelling. The essays mentioned a client in Cancun, right? They implemented this, let browsers virtually live the dawn from specific rooms.
Before spending a dime.
Exactly. And their conversions jumped 22%. 22%. It proves that trust, that certainty, translates directly into revenue.
Yeah.
And not just revenue, but real customer loyalty. Superfans.
That 22% figure is powerful. It really busts the myth that more information slows people down. It actually accelerates commitment when it's the right information.
It sculpts those superfans we talked about.
Yeah.
But okay, as a buyer, I need more than just the view from the window, right?
Yeah.
I need to understand the context. Where am I?
Good point. The room is crucial, but yeah, where does it sit in the bigger picture?
Right. So the solution has to be more holistic. The unit tour is central, but it needs to be complement, like with a POI interactive map.
POI, point of interest.
Yeah, points of interest.
Yeah.
So the user can instantly understand the whole environment. Where's the pool relative to my room?
Yeah.
How far is the beach access? Is there a coffee shop nearby? It gives you that full situational awareness.
Okay, that makes sense. Context is key. And what about navigating this huge inventory? If there are hundreds of units, how do I find the right one for me?
Well, that's where you need intelligent guidance. But crucially, guidance based on real data, not flawed algorithms or, subjective sales pitches.
So like an AI hunter.
Sort of, yeah. An integrated AI guidance tool. But the key is, it uses only the verified digital twin data from the system. It genuinely matches your stated needs, quiet floor, morning sun, close to the elevator, whatever, with the actual attributes of the available units.
Removing the friction, building confidence instantly.
Exactly. And the final piece here, maybe the most critical for large operators, is scale.
Right, because doing this for one boutique hotel is one thing.
But delivering these hyper-realistic, data-anchored experiences consistently across properties with hundreds, even thousands of units, that's a whole different ballgame. That capability, that scale, is what truly sets this new standard apart from niche solutions.
So how is that scale, that level of detail and realism even possible? Especially for buildings that aren't built. It sounds almost like magic.
Well, it requires a pretty sophisticated engine underneath it all. Something proprietary that can bridge that gap between the architect's plan and a verifiable human-scale experience.
Okay, let's touch on that engine then. What makes it tick?
It's powered by our VIM engine. VIM stand for Volumetric Information Multiplier.
Sounds complex.
The name might, but the function is straightforward. VIM essentially ingests all the relevant data architectural plans, geospatial information, visual details, material specs, everything,
And turns it into
reliable, data-anchored digital twins of every single unit. It's not just a 3D model, it's a container of verifiable truth.
that data anchoring feels important. It means it's not just an artist's pretty picture.
Exactly. It moves beyond subjective interpretation, beyond costly on-site photo shoots that might be out of date tomorrow, beyond those glossy but often inaccurate renderings. This is data truth, made visible and explorable.
And that's how you can show an unbuilt building.
Precisely. The magic, if you want to call it that, is that VIM makes the non-existent real and reliable. When you virtually step inside that unbuilt unit, you're not looking at a guess. You're experiencing a data-accurate visualization of what will be.
Including the view.
Crucially, yes, including the authentic, geographically accurate external view, the real horizon, the actual surrounding buildings, the way the light will hit at different times of day. You're eliminating the gamble. You're booking certainty.
Wow. Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this all really mean for the future? For how we buy and sell lodging, or any property, really?
I think the power dynamic has fundamentally, permanently shifted. It's really not about who has the cheapest rate anymore, or the biggest logo, or the most Instagrammable lobby necessarily.
It's about who's willing to be honest.
Essentially, yes. Who is willing to surrender the illusion? The competition now, it's a race to transparency. Those still hiding behind vague promises, brand 1.0 logic.
Yeah.
We saw what's happening in Vegas. Even massive spectacle can't shield you from irrelevance forever.
So the new deal, the new pact of trust is basically show me the unvarnished reality, warts and all, maybe.
That'll trust you. I'll become your advocate, your super fan.
Yeah.
Because booking that horizon, booking any significant space, it requires immense trust. And that trust, going forward, is built on certainty. Verifiable certainty, not smoke and mirrors.
The market has spoken, it seems. Transparency isn't just a feature anymore.
No, it's an existential requirement. Adapt or, become irrelevant. Those who embrace making the invisible visible for every single customer, they're the ones who will build those loyalty cults.
A fascinating look at a massive shift. Thanks for breaking that down.
My pleasure.
See you in the next episode.
You're listening to the SuitesFlow podcast.